Hi, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to cover all things inner alchemy, everything to do with Neigong and Qigong, the definition of Neigong, moving energy with your mind, the definition of Qigong, moving energy with your breath. We're going to demystify all the fallacies that come with this internal alchemy, but we are second to none when it comes to the internal alchemy within Taoism. And if you want to learn how to master yourself and master the energies and harness that magnetic fluidity that comes with the activation of the true essence of Neigong, then you need to stick around and learn all these things in all different levels throughout the episode and stay to the end. And we'll go through an exercise that just saturates your physical body. And enjoy the video. Tao does not act, yet is the root of all action. Tao does not move, yet it has the source of all creation. If princes and kings could not hold it, everyone under them naturally turns within. Tao does not act, yet it is the root of all action. Tao does not move, yet it is the source of all creation. If princes and kings could hold it, everyone under them would naturally turn within. Should a doubt of or old desire rise up, the nameless simplicity would push it down. The nameless simplicity frees the heart of desire and reveals its inner silence. When there is silence, one finds peace. When there is silence, one finds the anchor of the universe within himself. It is the name that cannot be named. It is the way that cannot be walked. It is the mother of all things. That is your truth, that is your reality. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. Ba-dum-bum.
Ba-dum-bum. Good morning.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
And howdy doody to you, you beautiful beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Quinn. Another amazing day.
Incredible.
It is good to be me.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be you. It's just good to be good. And how we are so good. We are so great.
Mm-hmm.
We are so magnificent. We are perfection. That is what you see in the mirror. That is what you breathe. That is what you act on. That is everything and all things. That is the truth to everything. Perfection manifest.
That is the Tao.
That is the Tao. So what do we have here? A turning of the evolution of the way 126.
Mm-hmm.
The evolution of all things. The portal of the eternal, infinite Wuji Jing body, a center point, a starting point for the Taoist rites, architecture of healing. Moreover, we're going to get down with the get down. We're going to get into the deeper understanding of what is the infrastructure of the training that we do, that we are masters at, Neigong and Qigong. the two staples for all Taoist practices, and what they really mean. What do they really mean? And are you aware, have you ever heard Sifu's analogy? What analogy? You know, the one where he talks about you're driving around in a Pinto, and then you pull over on the side of the road, and you open the hood, and you have a Lamborghini engine in there. This is what we're talking about today. Your Lamborghini engine. Anyone that has been touched by our material, anyone that has been touched by the Way 126 and OG, you're already getting a fundamental understanding of what you're accessing. See, there's a path to everything. A lot of people get glimpses, as we've spoken about over and over again, within the energetic world, within the alternative world, within something that goes beyond this flesh and blood that you consider your body. We talk about the glow, you know, the glow. You got to have the glow, 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 glow. That is as real as the day is long. So what does that really mean? Well, the formative one and only Bruce Lee was on that journey, pursuing that. We've had him on our podcast going deeper, understanding what really obstructed his ability to access that within his natural born life and ultimately live on eternally as, you know, this persona, this legend.
Icon.
Yeah, right? So, internal alchemy. That's basically what we're talking. Oh yeah, baby. You know, remember Austin Powers? Oh yeah, baby. That's what we're talking about, internal alchemy. And so anyone that studies with us or is using the Way 126 is getting a level up. And there's so many mechanisms to this acquisition. I hear people speak on it over and over again, you know, different access points. Be very clear, a lot of the realm of man stuff is the category that Sifu constantly talks about. What is that category that Sifu talks about? The gobbledygook category. And so, you know, you get two types of responses from the Way 126 because it has such an incredible energetic presence and effect on you. You either start your training with the Way 126, which is the first thing is mastering your emotions, which you'll get straight out of the chute. You will have something to validate within the first experience you have of the Way 126, and it will continue to accumulate, and you will master this emotional state within the first 9 weeks, if not within the first session. It really is up to you. You are limited by you. If you are able to frame things and accept you know nothing and you'll know everything, you will have it realized instantaneously, as we've spoken over and over again, and that is part of the power of the energetics, and that you are replicating everything that I'm talking about right here, right now. So, starting with that, when you do the Way 126, there's two things that happen. You either have an epiphany and realization of how powerful this is, where your guides, guardians, and angels are drawing you to this point that you're using the Way 126, so you want to shake the tree. You want to shake the tree. And the other side, or the other camp is, this is too slow, I can't handle this, this is like ridiculous, da-da-da-da. And what happens is, they're the people that are being affected even more so, because their emotions are being raised to the top, and their response is the answer to all things. And so you're getting this incredible energetic shaking of your tree, because we are dialing in and synchronizing these energy centers every time you're exposed to the material that puts you in the perfect place. So you synchronize yourself between the earth and the universe within the first 9 weeks. So you're acquiring a virtue over an emotion. You're synchronizing and linking these frequencies of your energetic body, and you are fundamentally on the path to developing Neigong.
Mm-hmm.
What is Neigong, Sifu? Mastering and moving energy with your mind. And then we're integrating Qigong. What does that mean? Mastering and moving energy with your breath. And so there's variables of this. You could sit here and have people talking about this, that, and something else. And, it's this version and that version, this version. I'm a show me guy. Right? Show me. Walkie, walkie, talkie, talkie. I'm going to show you. And that's why everything that we do, everything that Jade and I put out, these are thousands of year-old training systems that are integrated into a contemporary offering. And that is translated into your experience, right? So you have this evoking moment where this synchronization, this alignment that takes place when you're doing the Way 126, which is a visual, audible experience creating a kinesthetic charge, which is the validated to let you know you are in the zone. Your brain is fully evoked and enveloped as conscious at 100%. So you're able to access theta, alpha, and gamma all instantaneously as one. Conscious, baby, conscious.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're talking about internal arts. I can get someone to feel energy inside of 30 seconds. Because if you don't know, heads up, you have an electromagnetic field that pulsates from your heart. Without it, you're dead. So energetics 101. The only way you are alive is this pulsating electromagnetic field that you have that is interconnected in all things from a subatomic level all the way up to this flesh and blood that you see before you is integrated in a mapping of this 0 point energy, which is what we call the black hole energy, that is the entanglement, that is qualified, quantified, and measured by quantum physics, i.e. mechanics, and then we use that as also another extension of epigenetics, which gives you an understanding that you are a product of your environment. Your thoughts can turn on and off your gene expression alone, and then that is rippling down into the 50 trillion cells that you become the maestro or master of. And when you do that and you master that, then you have the ability to move the energy whenever, however, to whatever you want, internally, externally, place, person, or thing at will. Now that's the mastery. And so you get a sample of all these things. You're being given this entry level. We microdose you from week to week with the Way 126 so that you don't get a supercharge like you're sticking your finger into a sock and you walk out of there looking like Shirley Temple from the good ship Lollipop or whatever it is. So you don't want to have a overload.
Mm-hmm.
And it does happen.
It does. It's like a spiritual detox.
Right.
Where it's like certain people, depending on their mindset or their lifestyle normal, we can, do like a detox and go, oh, I felt sick for a day or two. And then, oh, I felt so good. My body felt so good after. And then some people do it and they have so much stuff, so much garbage in their body that it's like, oh my God, I was sick for 3 weeks. I'll never do that again. I felt horrible. That was the worst time of my life. But it's like it's pushing all of that stuff out, and the Way 126 is no different. It's just doing it on an energetic level, and depending on what you have going on personally and how much you have stored, you're going to have a different kind of effect of how, whether it feels really, really intense, or it feels just right, or it feels, a little bit intense. It's going to be different.
Well, it varies, but
exactly.
I mean, one of the quickest side effects is you were either compelled or repelled.
Yeah.
And so what does that mean, Sifu? You'll just give yourself an excuse like, I can't handle it. It's too slow. Oh, my goodness. Or this is making me angry. Or and you won't even understand why. All your stuff will come up, and you wouldn't attribute it to the app or the energetics. You'd just go, my stuff is coming up, and this is ridiculous, stupid. I don't want to do this. And, to be honest with you, out of 10 people that use the app, we probably get 1 out of 10 that has that experience, because people are so primed and ready. Their guardians, guides, and angels are bringing them to this point, and they're turning the app on, and plamo, that's it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And so now we get to the internal alchemy, which we are second to none to. The Taoists are number one in this realm, and moreover, Jade and I are number one in this space, period. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of talkers in this space, and you get to a point where you can't show me, so it's all talky, not walkie. And this is where it gets interesting, because I've come across very few people. I'm using tens of thousands of year-old practices that are ancient, are handed down from generation to generation. In some cases, with my sect and lineage, over 100 generations in one sect. That's a lot, bro. You feel me? And so the Neigong component for someone, I've only ever come across 1 or 2 people that can actually articulate the power of that. So you get the crash course. When you're doing anything that we're putting together, we are building that infrastructure under your very nose. So what does that mean, Sifu? Well, you're going to have a Daniel-san moment. What does that mean? I'm so sick of you, old man. I ain't going to wax your car and sand your floors. And then it's Mr. Miyagi. It's like, Daniel-san, what? Wax on, wax off. Really? I've done enough. I told you I'm not going to do it anymore. Daniel-san, wax on, wax off. And he's like, you get what I'm saying. I like the special effects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's already ingrained within you when you're being exposed to our material. And the reason that we do it this way is because if we explain the inner alchemy mechanisms, your head will explode, right? Instead of understanding that you want to intuitively expand on this stuff from the feeling, don't you worry your pretty little beautiful head over the semantics of your personality, because we want you to level up. It's a tangibility that takes place, a pulpability. And so most recently I did come across someone that was able to articulate what takes place when you build the dantian, right? Because when you're building these dantians, it's a condensing, a compression of energy that is filled up in this, what most people would only see conceptually, metaphysically, an idea of. But I don't play. When I build this stuff inside of you like I'm building the Lamborghini engine, it's for reals, it's for keeps. You are acquiring something that is second to none, and you will have for the rest of your life, natural born life, that is. And so understand this, know this to be true. This goes beyond the physiology, it goes beyond the neurology, it goes beyond the biology, which is what everyone talks about. And it's so popular, and I'll show you an out-of-body experience, I'll show you, astral plane traveling, I'll show you. And it's to a degree, a level of a glimpse of certain things. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's amazing. To master it, you need to have a full understanding of all the mechanisms.
And for all the people who are like just getting into this and understanding it, why do you want to master Neigong and the movement of
And
energy
Qigong,
and Qigong? And
that's a very good question.
Yeah.
Because, I teach people all different types of things, from mediumship, psychic capabilities, channeling, energetic healing, spiritual healing, you name it. All of the above. We're a one-stop shop. And these are all ancient practices that are thousands of years old. I don't claim to know them. What?
I was going to say we're the Costco of spiritualism.
Right, Costco.
You
Have
can
you
find,
got your membership card?
you can get it in bulk.
And so you want to be able to feel it. You want to be able to master it. You want to be able to manipulate it at will.
Mm-hmm.
Because it fundamentally is nothing more than this tool that's sort of fantasized within a Hollywood movie as a feel-good. Oh, I can get relaxed. I meditate. I do guided meditations. I visualize. I have a vision board. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is. These are starting points, and I think they're really fantastic. I think they're amazing. Again, when you dismiss someone else's beliefs, you dismiss your own. There is no exception. You know, I might do a bloody blah or gobbledygook here, but in reality, you all have your own path. But understand this: when it comes to ancient alchemy, internal alchemy for Taoists, there's a fundamental system where you are extracting the electric vibration from the energy, and it is pure magnetic fluidity. And so, on a much deeper level, that in deep yin access is more reflectant on what we call 0 point energy, right? And you want to be able to be your alchemical fun factory. I always speak on it within energetics, within epigenetics, understanding that. But you want to be able to build it. What's the old expression? If you built it, they will come. Oh, yes, they will. You know that the much deeper level, this one guy, I heard this guy just the other day, he was able to explain it, which gives me a tremendous amount of hope for many people. In 30 years, I've never been able to hear someone explain it to the articulated detail this guy has. And the only way he could do that is if he experienced it. Unfortunately, he was very much disconnected from his spiritual aspect, and he was more, this is a superpower, you acquire it, jumping off on, certain energetic practices that develop these dantians, which are these energy centers within your body, lower, middle, and upper dantian. And when you're able to synchronize the yin and yang energy and bring it together and extract this magnetic fluidity, you can pretty much do anything. Now, this particular guy was focusing mostly around martial form, and there was a few little faux pas where, quite frankly, he limits himself by his belief system alone, which is unfortunate, because what do I remind you of? Your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. That means that you are limited by nothing but what you believe. And that means that your inner architecture, just went on a podcast the other day, we're talking about out-of-body, near-death experiences, energetics, astral plane traveling, spiritual channeling, exorcisms, the whole thing. We went across the board on a lot of stuff. You have to understand your perception of your reality is the only thing you need to be concerned with. When I was going beyond the dimensions that we speak of here, and most people talk about the construct of the 11 dimensions that are part of the physics model of understanding how the universe works multi-dimensions. I got to tell you, I've gone well in excess of 30 dimensions, and it gets into these rippling different places where I can literally travel for what seems like days within this pure source energy, which is phosphorus white light. So you go past the lip of what we consider the universe into this next realm that is phosphorus white light for what seems to be days. And then it goes into complete darkness. Now, if you understand anything about the spectrum of colors, that's two of the same, black and white. You understand that, right? And moreover, when you understand what the integration of yin and yang is from a Taoist, when you blend the two together, the two sides of the mountain, yin and yang, and they come to a point, and you hit that point, and you're realized as all things, consciousness being all with one is all, just being, blammo, which is part of the levels of consciousness Lao Tzu talks about. Concept, consciousness, knowing, unconscious knowing, and then being one with everything. Blammo. Which goes into deeper understanding of conscious and unconscious, unconscious, conscious, subconscious. I mean, we can go on for days. Look at that big brain on Brad. You're welcome. So, let's get back to the inner alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
It's building these dantians. So they're tangible. So you're able to tap into that. Now, the fallacy, the misconception that this guy had, which I want to be very clear on, is where he goes into Chinese medicine, and that's kind of, again, book learnt. There's a certain degree of that. And I mean, you're going to be better off from a medical perspective to start with Chinese medicine as opposed to Western medicine, because we're understanding, you're getting a greater understanding of the meridians, the energetic channels throughout the physical body, which are very tangible and real and have been validated for tens of thousands of years within Chinese medicine. And then I referenced the Yellow Emperor, who was a transmutation of the universe that was created, and then he was the one that used that information from the universe to create China as we know it, which part of one of the offerings that he created from downloading all this information from the universe was Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this foundational thing, and the part that I have to disagree with this guy on is that when we're looking at the foundations of Neigong, moving energy with your mind, you have to have that Lamborghini engine. It's very clear. To do that, you switch on, like you turn on the flux capacitor of, you know what, the DeLorean. That's right, Marty. 88 miles an hour. We're going back to the future. Really, Doc? Are we going? Yes, we are. That 88 miles an hour flux capacitor, when you switch that on, it's like... If you've ever seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Jade might be a little confused, but she gets a good idea. She's just like, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I guess I got it, you know. That turn on is the energetic components that we're talking about within Neigong. This is what he's referencing. Only he's connecting it with three components. There are three components to developing your basically the inner alchemy, the integrated system that you move these energies through that makes you superhuman, that gives you the ability to do these things. It's Jing, which is your pure essence, your constitution, what you're born into this world with. Then Qi, right? Energy itself, right? And then finally Shen, which is what we speak of constantly, which is your spirit body, right? Now understand this, and this is right from a very powerful incantation from the Jade Emperor. A power abundant in its giving you will receive, unifying the body with the spirit with the energy, making all one and one is all, transcending and bringing heaven to earth, perfection manifest. That is your gift, that is your offering. Oh yeah. And so, what does that mean, Sifu? Well, after you get over the charge of energy that came out of just that incantation, we could take a minute, take a deep breath. You want to go and have a cigarette, take a break, whatever. When you come back from that rippling effect, it comes down to the nuts and bolts. The misconception this guy has is because this is what he knows. You know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. And I don't hold that against him. He's created a reputation and become a specialist teaching people internal alchemy and Neigong. Yet one of the biggest fundamentals he seems to dismiss and disagree with, even though he's talking about superhuman powers that are derived from the very training and the elixir that is generated from this practice. That elixir comes from the evoking with anyone that understands any of our training, the sacred infinite flower, that elixir, is then generated and it drips down into the cauldron. But this cauldron is not. This is the misdirection of all things, and people misunderstand this, because this is basically the gateway to the moon, and this dantian is held and protected and generated by highest purity. Now, the 81 chambers within this lower dantian are activated. Now, all these other practices I've ever seen reference this as a cauldron that creates fire. That's the biggest lie that you could ever have. And they will understand. This is where this guy referenced this interesting point, was he talked about the yin energy, because there is a distraction. Remember, your thoughts are electric. Your feelings, your emotions are magnetic. Big difference. When you understand this and you're able to separate, just as we get you to master your emotions and go, emotions, sit down over here. I ain't playing. Don't move. Then you get down with the get down. Now you're getting right into it. And so instant manifestation, magic, healing, it's all realized because the universe doesn't have a moral compass, ladies and gentlemen. It is the present moment. It's the culmination of the future and the past all together right now. You want to affect change, you do it now. Boom. Triple H, I think. I'm not sure. But it was like, boom. So there we have the misconception. And this guy doesn't know it. If he ever comes across this podcast, he's going to have an epiphany, because this is one of the things that is hindering his ability to truly master this stuff, even though he believes he might have it in his mind.
Do you think that's why men in general are more attracted to kind of like harnessing that internal alchemy, is because it's very yin? They, as much as they think it's, very testosterone driven or yang, it's actually very yin based. Mm-hmm. Whereas like, and women already kind of possess that. So they're not.
Here's the big difference. And this is the part that I will agree with him on. Most people believe when you create your ascension, the misconception is that the higher the frequency, the most finite the energetics, where it's so high that you're not even going to be able to feel it. It's such a high frequency. Now, when you turn on this alchemical fun factory using the absolute inner workings of Neigong, if you have the real system, which I do, you are. It's almost like this. You're on a production line, and this particular cauldron is extracting the yang energy, and it's sort of integrated into the yin energy, creating the 0 point energy, which is this internal infinite abundance, which is the black hole, right? And so this is the fluidity, what we call the magnetic fluidity. And when you access that, it's undeniable, because you're able to do anything and everything with it. And it comes in the form in so many different ways, just healing, healing yourself, healing others, any sort of different alchemical processes that transmute into psychic abilities, mediumship, channeling. And a lot of these guys don't even get that far. They're just caught up in the magnitude of this power. And what happens is a lot of these guys, you come from a duality, and because of that, this is where this guy is misdirected. He talks about, if your physical body screwed up, then you're not going to be able to harness this. Sorry. What you need to understand is you're limited by nothing. Your healing of your physical body, if your Jing level, your constitution is lower, and I come across this quite often, you can level up your constitution to 100 We talk about this. Your battery's at 50%. We level it up to 100%. And then we go to 1,000%, 2,000%, 3,000%. There is no end. And it doesn't come from your... Remember, you are the universe. If you are the universe, you are infinite, abundant, timeless, endless, limitless. And so the biggest misconception is how this particular guy is talking about this elixir, which is part of, a much deeper understanding of Taoist primordial breathing, embryonic breathing, and then that goes into how you percolate these dantians and evoke the energy. But it's a tangible, dense energy, which is contradictory to yin energy, right? Because yang energy is tangible, yin energy is so refined, right? People are assuming that it will just be silk-like, but it's so freaking dense, bro. It's like you have a big ball of dough in your stomach, a big ball of dough in your chest, in your head, and it's so dense. And the thing that drew me to this guy was he was able to articulate a mechanism that takes place when you shift that energy and you're able to turn on from an alchemical perspective this production and the density and holding of this energy at will. I can hold this energy in any part of my body at will, whenever, however, and it's not limited by my physicality. It wouldn't matter. But this is the misconception. But he mentioned this certain thing that takes place when you hit this mechanism and you turn it on. Everything has this, phosphorus white hue to it. And you can literally look around and you can look inside your mind, inside your head, and it just gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And so you can go from massive degrees, what you want to call stillness of the mind. These people keep talking about this. It's like you don't have to erase your personality. You don't have to erase your mind. Once you activate this mechanism, like we talk about, how we teach you within the Way 126, your emotions sit over here. And so my palette is complete darkness or complete light. And the second something comes into my field, it becomes the focus of attention. Even though I'm speaking to you now and I have this surrounding area, there is nothing going on inside. No, I'm serious. In the sense of there is nothing to distract me. When those energetics, and that's why we always say look inside. Look inside. Everything is inside you. When you're able to palpate that energy like it is frickin' dough, and this mechanism is activated, you have zero distraction. There is no such thing as your own mind, as you realize, and you're able to just put it aside and operate. Like, for example, I am operating right now, and I've said this before, and most people are like, he's full of shit. There's no way you could do that. I'm sitting in the universe right now, experiencing all the subtleties and frequencies of different constellations, planets, all as I'm talking to you, and I'm speaking to Jade, and I'm sharing this information, and I'm able to do this with my eyes open, because this is the tuning fork. A lot of people are talking about past the neurology, past the physiology, past the biology, 1,000%. But this is still a tuning fork. You're simulating it. It's getting a response from this. So that's the baseline. What we call the constitution. The Jing is the baseline. Then you get the energetics and then the Shen, right? And this is all part of the mastery of Neigong. And so when he talked about the activation of these literally, they're like, you could call them green screens. They're like green screens. It's either complete darkness or complete light. And you're able to just like, if it's a healing, doesn't matter what it is. Oh, my uncle, blah. I don't need to know who your uncle is. Because if you are the universe, it's done. You understand me? And so that is a degree of mastery that comes with all this stuff. And you're getting it all the time, whether you're exposed to our material, whether you're doing our app, whether you're working with other material, whether you're one of my students, whether you're one of my disciples, whatever it is, you are experiencing this at a magnitude, and you're getting osmosis transfer. Anyone that even watches a video of ours can feel the amplitude of this stuff through the video, through the experience, through the training. And, the Neigong part is a mastery. The internal alchemy that we are second to none with, there isn't anyone out there that would come close. The Taoist mastery is it. Oh, yeah.
Now, for anyone who wants to start this or do this, should you start with Qigong first to start building these dantians? Should you start with Neigong first? Should you do they work simultaneously?
Well, that's the beautiful part about what we're doing. We're not suppressing the information like this is some realm of man's psyop, which is what's been going on for thousands of years. This is where, through my teachers, the three pure ones, they're like, release it. And so, if you're in our stratosphere, you're leveling up. If you're in our stratosphere, it's on like Donkey Kong. And so it's a combination of the two. You want to do Neigong and Qigong. And what happens is the greater understanding is people need to understand that the system is the Neigong and Qigong. It's the internal alchemy. Everything else is easily transferred. What does that mean? The Tai Chi, the Bagua,
right?
Iron Fist training, Iron Palm training, whatever you want to call it. These are just, formations of, and literally you can start just making up different sort of like forms and poses. And once you get the internal alchemy down, all bets are off with everything else. And as it should be.
Right.
So, Tai Chi is just another way to gather, and what we call within Taoism, absorbing the riches. Oh, yeah. There's nothing like it.
It kind of reminds me of like gymnastics, where it's like once you learn the tricks, like you learn the flips, the things, you can assemble it any way you want. You pick, then you pick your routine of what you like,
right.
But you have to learn the foundation of how do I do a backflip? How do I do a round off? How do I do a tumble, jump, triple, whatever they're capable of doing? You have to learn that first, and then you can choose how you want to put it together and create your routine that makes it work for you.
Right. And so, we have the Taoist rites architecture of healing.
Mm-hmm.
That is coming out. We're releasing the first portal, which is an activation. If you haven't had a Kundalini experience, you're about to have one, equivalent to, but a Taoist version of a Shen projection.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like turning, it's like the flux capacitor, you're turning it on. And then we get into the system itself, which will be 9 different modules. You're just leveling up every time, and you want to be a healer, a badass, whatever you want, you're going to have that. Way 126 is another level of consciousness that you're acquiring, which is the secret sorcery of alchemy that comes as another level up on a different playing field. So you get all this stuff through us. You can take the program, the courses, or you can reach out to me in DM if you want any private one-on-one stuff. I very rarely take on students, but occasionally, once in a while, if the calling is strong enough, and the three pure ones want to take you on one-on-one, they will. And that's not for me to determine. That's for them to decide. And so all you need to do is reach out to me and give me your, best case scenario, what it is that you want to do, and they'll decide. Either you're there because you're supposed to be, or you're not, and they will let me know. I don't make those decisions. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important for everyone to start realizing that this stuff is happening all the time. You're watching the movie's constantly playing in the background. It's constantly in front of you. Now, let's get you to be the director of it. Let's get you to be the cast, the crew, the music, the editing, and now start creating it instead of just watching it. Because it's always, I mean, energy is always running through your body. Energy is always around you. Everything is energy. This is the Qigong and the Neigong is learning how to master it within yourself and within others, to help heal or manifest, so that you're kind of taking control of that instead of, being the watcher of it, but not the controller of it.
booyah. And so, yeah, when you compact anything that we do, any exercises we do, you're getting a sample of that, and I'm giving you instant access because I just ripple that out. Just like me talking right now, the amplitude of the room has already been altered because I've been doing this for a long time, decades of my natural born life. So that ability, that access is there. I'm not interested in limiting you with some type of long, blowhard version where, you got to go and you've got to do this for decades, which is, even including this last guy that I'm speaking of, it's painful. But the personality is drawn to that. Understand this. If you're an information seeker, you're going to chase after the people like that, and you're going to end up in their classes, and you're going to spend years and years and years accumulating this stuff and wondering why you're in your head and you're not acquiring it, even though he claims that's one of the things that he doesn't do, yet he's speaking on it. So if you speak on it, it's already part of the process of how you perceive things. This is why we show you, and you're able to feel it and go, holy moly, I felt it before Sifu even said anything. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's kind of like, don't they look at like fighters? Okay, so everybody has hands. Everybody can make a fist. Everyone can throw a punch. But like if a fighter or a boxer, MMA fighter, like hits you with a punch, they're going to get, it's more weaponized because they have this foundation, this understanding, this training that they've created through their sport or their, practice. And this is kind of the idea where it's like everybody has the ability to do it. We're just activating it for you and giving you all the tools and the techniques and putting you through the training system to be able to really master it, because it's like, isn't it? Yeah, it's like if I get, I'm pretty sure if I get punched by someone who's an MMA fighter versus not, just a regular person on the street, it's considered, way more highly dangerous, the whole thing.
Right. And, you put on these, training wheels for people. And I always move away from someone that starts with some type of fear-based stuff. So, if you do this is going to happen. It's very dangerous. And you talk about energy, right? If you are me, I am you. If everything is abundant, everything is all things, you don't trust yourself as the universe. You don't trust yourself. Whatever you have been given is perfection. And that if you lay out that groundwork instantaneously, that's exactly what you're going to experience. If you start from a duality, that's okay, but be understanding when you realize you're processing this as a duality. What does that mean, Sifu? That means that you're already limiting yourself because you've created this emotional-based stuff. The emotion is controlling you. Just like we always talk about with the Way 126, your emotions don't control you, you control your emotions. End of story.
So powerful.
Right? And so realizing that, understanding that, knowing that to be true, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Massive deal. And so when you acquire that, any 126s within the first session or the first 9 weeks, they acquire their mastery of their emotions, and they're like, holy moly, And we have a system where you're able to test your mastery on a daily basis as to how you're going within the process of acquiring the skill, as you should be. You should be able to test what is going on from an energetic level, because everything is feeling. That's the validation of whether it's true or not. It's critical to your own evolution, your own realization.
100%. And I do think it is kind of funny, getting back to that, what we mentioned in the beginning, when we get people to realize that we do kind of get either one side of the coin or the other, where we get people who are really excited and they feel super empowered, like, wow, you're right. I can control, what's going on in my reality. I can control my emotions. I can control my life. I don't have to, feel helpless or hopeless. And then we get the exact opposite of people who are like almost angry, like, no, I am a victim. This happens to me. I can't control it. I can't make my own decisions. My reality is already set. My gene expressions are already set. I have this behavior and it is what it is. And it's like, okay, that's your mindset where you are right now.
You know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a starting point.
It is a starting point, but
it's not your death knell.
It is not.
You're popping off, dude. Mm-hmm. You're leveling up.
Yeah. And we kind of get either the people who like get angry that you tell them that they have choices and they can make their own decisions, or you get the people who get really excited because they're like, wow, I can make my own decisions and I can do this. And, sometimes they flip-flop back and forth in the middle, and it's for each their own. Your truth is the only truth. It is the most important at this moment.
The only truth.
Mm-hmm.
And so understanding those inner alchemy mechanisms and filling up the cauldron, which is the complete opposite of what you think it is. And this is where people get misinformed. Even though you will generate this incredible heat, it's actually pure magnetic fluidity. And that's the whole. But it's hot. It's expansive. It's dense. Yeah, baby. And that's part of like the misdirection, and that's part of like the true inner alchemy that needs to be realized. But when you get these mechanisms going, upper dantian, middle dantian, lower dantian, and anyone's a 126, anyone's a student, disciple, anyone that trains with me one-on-one, whatever, this is your level up moment. This is the time for you to... And so I felt it was necessary for us to talk much deeper on the inner alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And the process that it takes to get there. And a lot of people are talking years and years and years. I want you to hear this from my very mouth. You can access this instantaneous if it's to be. You hearing me right now, this echoing effect, your neurology is speaking to you. You are mimicking everything that I do. That means it's accessible. Go, bam, doom, dum, doom. And there's a process, perhaps from your past lives to where you are in your reincarnation of who you are today. There is a process. You've been brought here before us, and we will show you. We will give you the path. We'll give you the roadmap to level up.
Yeah. You are the Jedi.
You're the master keeper creator of your reality. Well, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, did we go over a lot? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll always go over more and more in depth. And
understand that Dantian part.
Mm-hmm.
The most people reference to the Dan and the Dantian as completely separate. They're one. There's 81 chambers in each Dantian. And once you turn them on, it's like a dominoes effect. It's just like turning on that flux capacitor. It's on, and it ain't going anywhere. It's yours forever in this lifetime and to infinity and beyond.
Mm-hmm. And it's just energy. Everything is energy. It's condensing that energy, feeling that energy, pulpating that energy, translating that energy.
And realize when you master this Neigong, the biggest misconception is you're able to move the energy and transmute it any way you want. Like part of one of the mastery components is being able to move energy from things, objects, right? You're able to, and this is where this guy was ill-informed, and it's sad because he would completely continue to repeat this to his students, and he has a lot of them, is the Jing, your essence, your constitution, is being affected by all things, and you're drawing from it. So, if you're distracted by your thoughts, you draw from your field. If you're distracted by a physicality, you draw from your field. You know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. This is the starting point. I'm not going to say that there isn't some validity to this because you start with that. If you're around someone who's miserable and a complainer and a whiner and a victim, and you walk out of the room and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm exhausted. Yes, you have invested your pure essence. I talk about this when you emote, when you're emotional, this is true. But there's a transfer when you turn on this Neigong. It's all level up time. Don't start with that duality, because if you start with that duality, when someone references a sexual activity, you are going to be limited. You're going to instantly drain yourself. Remember, your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. So there is a crossover point, and when that crossover point comes, you can, be highly sexual, highly active, and have zero effect on your essence, your constitution, because you're able to transmute it and level it up at will. That's a fact. And this is where this training is only based on the giver. This is where all this stuff has gone misdirected and confused. Scriptures from thousands of years from other different faiths, belief systems, all these things have been manipulated and controlled by the fact that people are removing material within the training and giving them the student, the practitioner, a very limited view and missing components that would actually level them up. And the first and only component you need to be concerned with is your truth. When you validate that, when you know that, all bets are off. So work from duality to non-duality, and know that you're leveling up. Know that your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. And then as you build the inner alchemy, the architecture where these things are like tangible, it's density. You can concentrate this energy in these containers, and you can move them any which way you want. That is damn real, dude. And it is thick. It is not. The misconception is you assume this magnetic fluidity is a silky, subtle, high frequency. It has the qualities of what you could perceive as yang energy, but it is pure Tao, the Wu Ji. It's a combination beyond that. That's what we talk about. The internal, eternal, infinite Wu Ji body, or Wu Ji Jing body. So the Wu Ji is the stillness. The Jing is your essence, right? And infinite is the Tao. You know what I'm saying? Oh, damn, Seafood. Drop the mic on that one. You're welcome, right? So we talk about matter. We talk about Qi. We talk about Shen. We talk about Wuji. We talk about the Tao. And so, with all that said, don't be misdirected. Anyone that tells you there's a limitation is misdirected themselves. You should initially take it at face value that they're not attempting to manipulate you, but in most cases they are. And that generates and starts with a seed of fear. And that fear is a catalyst that will be draining from your very force, your very essence, but there's a transfer where all bets are off. You discover you having that Spidey moment, and you realize you have superpowers. And then this is where I agree with this guy. There is a superhuman aspect where you go beyond the physicality, the biology, the neurology, all these things. And that's where he even says this, but then he talks about the physical. My goodness, my friend. And I mean, you frame it out that way. You're creating your reality however you want to perceive it. And it all starts with you. So, I look to my divine delectable co-host who had about 3 seconds of words here today due to my diarrhea. But I was very passionate. I was feeling very passionate today. I need to get this out. I need to get this rolling because we got people to level up. If you're listening to us, you're leveling up right now.
That's right. No, it is. Everything is important. And I think we will go even in more depth into both Neigong and Qigong.
That was the other thing. I absolutely, my personality self just wants to, I start seeing stars where he's like, well, there's another system, but we won't get into that today. We don't want to talk about that. And if I ever do this and I go, oh, I'm going to come back to this, remind me and I'll come back to it and I'll fill in the gaps. I'm not doing here's the carrot and, get back to me in 6 months. You're never going to find it. This is what this guy would always do. It's like, oh, well, that's neither here or there. I can't talk about that. That is very complex. It's very complex. We can't do that.
Yeah, no. And if you ever do feel like you got a portion but not the whole thing, I mean, always leave questions in the comments, leave questions in the DMs on Instagram, on YouTube, on our website, and we have so much to share that sometimes things just pass right by, but the sharing aspect is always on and always available to anyone who watches our material.
Blammo. And with that, we always like to exit to the right with a little exploratory, experiential, momentary memento of pure sauce. And so, why not just end it with a little bit of revving of the engine? And so, this is an interesting respiration. So, you're going to inhale, and then you're going to hold it, which would seem like it's in your chest because you're not going to breathe it from your lower dantian. It's going to be middle. So, you're going to hold it. You're going to inhale, fill the chest out, and then gulp with your saliva, which is then going to drop the seed down into the lower dantian, and you're going to push it out, and then exhale. Now you're going to do that 3 times, and you're going to hold it, and we're going to see where we're at. So the process is this. It's inhale through the nose, open the chest up, gulp, drop the seed down to the lower dantian, and then push the belly out. And then it'll be inhale. Drop the seed down. So, I think we got the gist. We're going to do it 3 times. On the final one, you're going to hold on the inhale. Ooh, seafood. Did you just say that? Then you're going to exhale, and then you're going to hold on the exhale. Seafood, that sounds kind of scary.
Do you hold after the gulp or inhale?
You're gonna inhale, you're
gulp,
gonna gulp,
hold,
and then you're gonna hold, and then exhale.
And then exhale, hold.
Right, and then hold. So the first 2 are just that, and then the last one, you inhale, then you hold, and then exhale and hold. And I'm gonna do the counting, and you know my counting. Oh no, Sifu, you gotta do the 9 times. No, it's 72 times. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's gonna be the 9. Okay. So, without any further ado, I want to thank my divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade. Woo! Because I know she gets high as AF. And, I don't want to interrupt her own experience because it's all about her. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like she's acting like she's special or something. I don't know. Okay, so when you guys are ready, without any further ado, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale, hold. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Hold it. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh, yeah. Stay with that, guys. Anyone hearing me from a distance, anyone present in the room, wherever you're at, immerse yourself in that energy, frequency, and vibration. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master Sun Quinn, and I will see you on the next one, guys. Hi, guys, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to cover all things inner alchemy, everything to do with Neigong and Qigong, the definition of Neigong, moving energy with your mind, the definition of Qigong, moving energy with your breath. We're going to demystify all the fallacies that come with this internal alchemy, but we are second to none when it comes to the internal alchemy within Taoism. And if you want to learn how to master yourself and master the energies and harness that magnetic fluidity that comes with the activation of the true essence of Neigong, then you need to stick around and learn all these things in all different levels throughout the episode and stay to the end, and we'll go through an exercise that just saturates your physical body. And enjoy the video.